Why Google? I'm really upset with Google right now. I'm just going to say that right now. Google Hangouts has lost all my lower thirds and other things that I normally put up, and I was getting ready to hit the button. We're live right now. I was getting ready to hit the button. Nothing came up. Nothing's there. There's nothing there. So anyway, we're going to start this show off right. Let's Google. I'm so mad at you right now. That's how I'm going to start this show. Thank you for providing this amazing platform to This Week in Science. But I'm so mad at you right now.
But do your job better.
But it's mad love, Google.
You just
mad love.
It just broke. It just broke. Ah, okay.
It didn't want me to join the show, remember?
It didn't want you to join this show. It lost my show notes.
Yeah.
It just lost all my stuff. Am I actually broadcasting as This Week in Science right now?
Let's find out. I'm going to go to twist.org/live.
Are we actually broadcasting the way that we're supposed to? Okay. Google is sleeping on the couch. That's right. I did not check to make sure that everything at Google was working before I started this show. So anyway, this working. Yay! We're broadcasting where we're supposed to. So that makes me happy. Hey, chat room. How's it going? Everyone out there in Radio Land. You know what?
Hey, chat room.
3, 2, 1. This is TWIS, This Week in Science, episode number 484, recorded on Wednesday, October 8th, 2014. The Ridiculously Resilient Show! I'm Dr. Kiki, everyone, and today on This Week in Science, we are going to fill your head with hot air, foxy ladies, and loud noises. But first...
Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. There's always been a difference between what we see and what is real. Sometimes it's an intentional illusion, like a movie, which is made up of still photographs whizzing past a beam of light 24 frames per second. Sometimes it's more of a subconscious trick, when our vision of an event is filtered by some connotations of past experiences. You pass on the coffee refill, not because you've had enough coffee, but because the waitress's yellow shirt is yellow, and you don't care for yellow just now. And besides, her face is similar in some strange way to a dog that once bit somebody standing next to you, and you, even though you don't actually recall the event right now, are thinking of this subconsciously as she offers to refill your cup. Somewhere, the connection has been made. The coffee refill has been averted. And what do we see when we look with eyes? Flickers of light. With ears? Not much better. Vibrations of tiny hairs. And even these events, like all senses, must be converted into electrical impulses that whirl about the brain searching for pattern recognition. Because this is what we are. So how is it that everything we know about the world around us is this, and this is all we see? Because this whirling, this whizzing, this subconscious flickering of recognition is, in fact, all that is required to do the work of an active mind. And you have an active mind, which is why you find yourself looking forward to another episode of This Week in Science. Coming up next.
I've got the kind of mind I can't get enough. I want to learn everything. I want to fill it all up with new discoveries that happen every day of the week. There's only one place to go to find the knowledge I seek. I want to know what's happening. What's happening? What's happening this week in science? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening this week in science?
Good science to you, Kirsten and Blair.
Good science to you too, Justin and Blair. And to everyone out there, welcome to another episode of This Week in Science. We're here to fill your heads with lots of science stories, and as usual, there were so many in the last week. Oh my goodness. We can't ever get to all of them. But I've got stories about brain expansion, world robot domination by the U.S. Navy, and a ridiculous ridge. What do you have for us, Justin?
What do I have? I have rabies. I have... That's true. I figured out where foxy ladies come from, And I will answer the lifelong question of what happens when you die. If we have time. We'll get to it in the second half somewhere.
Ooh, that's a big question. All right, I'm looking forward to that. Blair, what do you have?
Well, I have sticky spiders, loud larvae, and aesthetic avian architects.
So alliterative.
Oh, I love it.
I do love it. I love it as well. All right, everybody, let's get into the show. And you know what week it is? Do you know what's been happening lately? People have been getting awards for doing science. The Nobel Prizes have come out. So great.
I
love
need to go check my mail.
Yeah, I don't think you
Right
got
back.
it. Once the Nobel Prize in Physics for 2014 was awarded to Isamu Akasaki, Hiroshi Amano, and Shuji Nakamura for the invention of efficient blue light-emitting diodes, which has enabled bright and energy-saving white light sources. Previous to their discovery, their invention, there were red and green, but no blue. And so pure white light weren't able to make it using LEDs. And so now we're able to make really bright white lights that don't use a whole bunch of energy, and it has really revolutionized lighting of all kinds across the board. And it's made things possible like Blu-rays and other things like that. So there's all sorts of blue light uses that are just wonderful. Nobel Prize in Chemistry for 2014 was given to Eric Betzig, Stephen W. Hell, and William E. Moorner for the development of super-resolved fluorescence microscopy. Being able to look at little tiny stuff really well and getting good pictures so that we can figure out the structures of things, and it's just wonderful.
Yay.
It's just yay, being able to see stuff really small. And the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for 2014 was awarded to John O'Keefe, May Britt Moser, and Edward I. Moser for their discoveries of cells that constitute a positioning system in the brain. So basically, cells that tell us where we are in three-dimensional space. There are cells within the brain that are space cells. Basically that fire when you're in a particular place. Place cells. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, cool stuff. Three-dimensional positioning system. We've got GPS in our brains. It's pretty
That's
awesome.
fantastic.
It is fantastic.
I think Nobel Week should be a vacation. I think.
Right? Should we all
I think we
celebrate?
should all celebrate science for a whole week, no work.
Yeah, I think, though, that we should celebrate especially the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine, not just because I'm partial to neuroscience and physiology personally, but they gave an award to a woman! Ah! Yes, so excited.
Lady scientist getting recognition.
1 out of 9 ain't bad.
It's not great.
Oh, it's not great, no, but it's something. So congratulations. I really congratulate May Britt Moser getting women out
Who's
there.
a dude? Woo! Dudes! Dudes winning Nobel Prizes! Yeah!
Dudes always win Nobel Prizes. Let's share the love. Come on, let's give women more jobs in the sciences and share the money. That's what I want to see.
What?
Equal representation within the disciplines, yeah. Anyway, moving on. That was just another note I wanted to make on this. Oh, our planet's getting hotter, and we are just taking records of it. There is a group of little floats that are floating around the oceans. It's the Argo system, and it's a fleet of these floats that float, and they take measurements of sea temperature and air temperature and all sorts of their positioning in space, all sorts of data on the salinity and other things floating around, taking data about the oceans. So researchers publishing in Nature Climate Change recently looked at sea level data and Argo data to figure out what kind of an effect what's happening to warming of the ocean at different levels. Now, the Argo temperature measurements can't go further down. They don't cover depths greater than 2,000 meters into the ocean. So we don't know what's happening at the deep, deep depths. But combined with the sea level rise information, what we're finding is that, yes, the oceans are warming, and they warmed enough to raise sea levels 0.9 millimeters per year since they were, this fleet was established 2005 to 2013, plus or minus 0.15 millimeters, 15 hundredths of a millimeter. The satellite measurements of glacial shrinkage were about 0.8 millimeters per year, plus or minus 0.3, and so they were kind of subtracting that out because they wanted to know just how much was due to the ocean warming, because when the water warms, it actually expands. And so there is a certain amount of sea level rise that's just due to the warming itself. And so what they're finding with this temperature change is that there's nothing really left to be accounted for below 2,000 meters. So the warming that's taking place is probably not at the really great depths. However, there's more warming taking place than what we had previously thought. Another paper published in Nature Climate Change is looking at the very surface, so the 700 meters at the top of the oceans for the period of 1970 to 2004, before Argo was launched. So it's the time period leading up to that. It's led by Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories. Paul Dirac, and they were looking at how the temperatures matched up to climate model simulations. They found, again, a whole bunch of warming that we hadn't really accounted for. But in the past, we've been having differences in the southern hemisphere between what the climate models were saying was going to happen. They were saying the southern hemisphere should have been warming more. And our measurements, our actual measurements from satellite data and other measures, were not matching up to that. They were showing the southern hemisphere is not really warming up very much. And so now we add all this stuff in, and all of a sudden there's no mismatch anymore. The southern hemisphere is rising from warming water, and there's more southern hemisphere warming that actually does match the models. And so ocean expansion nearly matches the ratio of the ocean volume. So the southern hemisphere accounts for about 60% of that. And so yeah, we've basically got a lot of warming in the shallower parts of the ocean and stuff.
Data on the water expansion side of things, because we hear so much about the glaciers because they're kind of I guess they're the super interesting, more tangible thing.
We can see it. We look and we go, oh, there's a glacier. Oh, no, there's no glacier anymore.
Yeah.
It melted, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm shocked to hear it's that much. That's quite substantial, almost a whole centimeter a year. That's a pretty big change. And it's hard also to think about just a centimeter. That doesn't seem like that much, but then that actually has a huge impact on things like storm swells, and that's the other thing. The Earth's not a sphere, so a centimeter around the whole planet, well, that might be almost nothing over here, but maybe an inch or two over there, depending on the ocean dynamics too. So it's really, that's kind of scary, a whole centimeter. Whoosh.
Yeah, but I think the data also, the interesting part of this is that we're seeing data line up more with the models, which is good. So the southern hemisphere data, it's lining up more with the models, but now with this expansion data, that can be also tabulated into models in the future. That really hasn't been done as much previously.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then my final intro story is about the ridiculously resilient ridge, or as I like to call it, the ridiculous ridge. It's just all redonkulous. So there is a blog.
What ridge are you referring to?
The ridge of high hot air pressure that is floating off of the Northern California, Pacific Northwest coast in the Northern Pacific. And if anyone, it was interesting to post this story to Facebook. A friend of mine who's an avid skier and water sports person, he's like, oh, this explains, I've been seeing water going around us and going to other places for years, and this totally explains it. If you've noticed, California is pretty much in a severe drought situation, has been for the last 2 to 3 years, and what explains it is the ridiculously resilient ridge. It is a ridge of high pressure that basically pushes, it's resilient. It doesn't really move around a lot, and everything gets pushed around it. So water that would normally come to our coast is not. It's going around, it's going to the south, it's going to the north, it's going everywhere but here. And so a summary from a blog that is called the California Weather Blog, brought to you by Weather West. He's published a paper in the special issue of the Bulletin of the American Meteorological Society, and what he summarizes the paper as: in 2013 and 2014, a vast region of persistently high atmospheric pressure over the Northeast Pacific Ocean, known as the ridiculously resilient ridge, and I did not make that up, prevented typical winter storms from reaching California, bringing record low precipitation and record high temperatures. These extremely dry and warm conditions have culminated in California's worst drought in living memory, and likely the worst in over 100 years. Human-caused climate change has increased the likelihood of extremely high atmospheric pressure over the North Pacific Ocean, which suggests an increased risk of atmospheric patterns conducive to drought in California. And so what we are potentially seeing is this probably isn't going to be a permanent position that we're in, but this might become a more common event, and that we might be seeing this ridiculous ridge becoming resilient much more often and causing us a lot of water woes going into the future. So California, we got some planning to do. If we haven't been planning for this, we need to be planning for this now. We got to start working on
Giant
water.
fan to move that ridge.
Yeah, just a big fan to move it out of the way. Yeah, maybe we'll just move some big icebergs to that part of the Pacific
that should
Ocean.
work. That sounds good. How about you shut off all decorative fountains? That's step 1.
Yes.
Get rid of your lawn.
Step 2. Yeah. Let's become a drought state. Be ready, people. Don't use water so much. And I have to say,
well, nobody likes it when I point it out, but again, we're going to make up every percentage that we citizens save is going to make about a tenth of a percentage of a difference as a group. We make up about 10% of the water usage of this state. The vast majority of it is industrial, and they need to change farming habits and behaviors and techniques to be more water conscious. Because we're really not in we're going to run out of water drought. We're in there's too many people using water for vast farming operations sort of a situation. So
I don't know that I necessarily agree.
Farming. Smarter farming is the answer. There's plenty of water. People shouldn't be worried about this. They should be pointing the finger where it's deserved. And it's the farming practices which haven't changed in 100 years.
There are a lot of farming practices have changed in 100 years. There are a lot of things that are working differently in agriculture, especially in the Central Valley. And I think that there are some conversations that need to take place because, yes, agriculture does use a large percentage of the water, but so do individuals. And individuals as a group can make a huge impact. And we can even ask that change, we can work together to have changes take place in industry, in agriculture, and even in the way that we live our lives in our own gardening practices. So I think that we all are in this state together, and we all need to work together and not point fingers, because the blame game is not going to help. It's not science.
It goes a little bit more big picture, though. I mean, this is what we're talking about. We talk about solving these big problems. And really, I said 100 years. It really hasn't changed much in thousands of years. We're doing just straight irrigation farming for most of the Central Valley. What we could be in getting to the point where we're applying the water directly to where it needs to go it requires an investment. It might require some technology, but mostly it's an investment and some revamping of how we're using the farming land. Now, yeah, we can affect it too. Everybody should do their part to conserve, but I guarantee you, if everybody got together and did and dramatic and cut their water consumption by 40%, wouldn't change anything. It
But
would
see,
change the amount of
mathematically,
water
that
in the
doesn't
system
work, Justin.
amount of water
That's
being
not math. That's not science. It is going to make a difference.
by
It might
about
make a
4%.
small difference, but it makes a difference. And when you're in a drought, that's still a difference.
That's
And
still
Well,
it still
take
makes
a drastic action to little effect, and there's another action that should be implemented that could have the major effect. That's the one you should concentrate on.
If anyone wants to know more about the ridiculously resilient ridge, I definitely recommend checking out this blog, the California Weather blog. It's weatherwest.com. It's got a lot of information on our coastal weather. All right, everyone, this is This Week in Science. It is time for some more science. Justin, tell me about the Foxy ladies. I'm
Okay, so
curious.
yeah, the origin of Foxy ladies has been known about actually for decades, because they've decoded the genome on the maternal side. So we know female red foxes going back and back and back and back and back. However, University of California Davis researchers have, for the first time, investigated ancestry across the paternal line. That's the papa foxes. The data they compiled for over 1,000 individuals from all over the world exposed surprises about the origins and the journey and evolution of the red fox as well. So part of what's been, I guess, the idea of red foxes in North America is they came over roughly 50,000 years ago over that sort of Bering Strait from Asia, just ahead of the Native Americans, so just around the same times, right? But it turns out that this is a distortion, that there's one female line that came from Asia to Alaska around that time, and that the true separation between the Asian and North American foxes, 400,000 years.
Oh, wow. It's a long time.
Quite a bit different. So, yeah, so quite a bit, almost the entirety of the time, with the exception of the Bering line, separated.
Yeah, that's a immense and impressive amount of time.
Yeah. So it also kind of goes to show, if you only have a small part of the picture, how quickly it can get distorted, because only knowing the female side of it, you would never know. This is also interesting.
You're just trying to keep males relevant, aren't you? That's that whole story.
Okay, wait, 9 out of the 10 Nobel Prizes?
Yeah, I know.
9 out of the 10? Think we're doing okay. I'm not too worried yet.
we're closing in on you.
Yeah, catching up. Discovery of new bones from a large land mammal lived about 48 million years ago is being identified as a new branch of mammals closely related to the modern horse, rhino, and tapir, which is the elephanty-like-ish thing in South America, Blair?
Yes, I will screen share some pictures. Tapirs are amazing. One of my favorite animals I've ever worked with. Continue.
So this family of large mammals, Anthracobonide, something, is only known from India and Pakistan. Well, you got to talk so people can see the tapir.
There's a tapir in all his glory. Here's another one. Here's a real good one. Oh, yeah. They're very cute, actually.
He looks kind of elephantish, but he also looks like a rhino.
They are related to rhinos and horses.
And horses. So this new group is only known from India and Pakistan, was commonly considered to be ancestors of modern elephants and sea cows. Geographically, this was puzzling because elephants and their relatives were groups that were known in Africa, not Asia. New fossils indicate that the Anthracobonides are related to the tiny tapirs that are well known from the Pakistani rocks, and that the other one probably originated in Asia. But what this is, the interesting part of this, though, is that they think that they were waterbound, that these were one of many lineages of vertebrates that evolved from terrestrial animals, then left to go live in shallow water habitats, and that's where they get the thicker bones from. Because the thick bone acted as ballasts to counteract body buoyancy. So this is sort of that's the bone structure that then emerges that you see still actually modern hippos. It's in otters, which I thought was odd, penguins and cormorants. So these are modern animals that, you know, spend most of their time in the water. But then this, you can see this thicker bone that you'd get in a rhino or an elephant, perhaps even. Could be from having spent a good amount of time in the water. Although the bone size, well, no, that's bone length and size, not necessarily density. Interesting.
That's very interesting. All of those big, thick-boned animals, I feel like we are constantly having trouble figuring out where to put them. That's always been a problem. But originally, we came up with this group called pachyderms, and that was rhinos, hippos, and elephants. And of course, the three are completely unrelated to each other. So there was that whole weirdness. Now it looks like hippos actually come from a carnivorous mammal that was on land before.
Explains why they're so angry all the time.
Yeah. And then we have elephants who are related to hyraxes, little guinea pig looking things. Those are their closest relatives. That makes no sense. And then rhinos are related to horses and tapirs.
And bats are more closely related to horses than they are rodents. Which is also...
Evolution, what did you do?
Convergent evolution. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
One more story here. Rabies causes acute inflammation in the brain, producing psychosis, violent aggression, and making the necessity of putting down Old Yeller. The virus paralyzes the body's internal organs, is always deadly for those unable to obtain vaccines in time. Wow, this is a number I wouldn't have guessed. To this day, 55,000 people die from rabies every year?
Yep.
Wow, that's a big number. How many did Ebola get so far? Well, I guess we don't want... We'll wait till those numbers are all in. I guess we got to wait till the end of that one before we start comparing. Better than bird flu. This kills more
Completely
people than
different
the bird flu.
comparison.
And it does it every year. So for the first time, Tel Aviv University scientists have discovered the exact mechanism the killer virus uses to efficiently enter the central nervous system. Then when it gets there, it's going to pop. It's going to erupt and let loose a toxic explosion of symptoms. So here goes. Rabies not only hijacks the nervous system's machinery, it also manipulates the machinery to move faster. We have shown that rabies enters a neuron in the peripheral nervous system by binding to a nerve growth factor receptor, responsible for the health of the neurons, called P75. The difference is that that its transport is very fast, even faster than that of its endogenous ligand, whatever endogenous ligand. What's an endogenous ligand? Ligand?
Ligand, you're right. An endogenous ligand is something that is within the cell. It hasn't been brought in from somewhere else, and it connects things.
Okay, so there's actual molecules, there's molecules that need to get moved from one place to another. So it's binding with a growth factor that's designed to actually protect the neuron, jumps on there, and then basically piggybacks it, basically rides it like a little horse, down into the nervous system. Gets fast-tracked there, just right? Yeah. That's wild. So it's actually, that's how it's doing it. It's grabbing on and hanging on and transporting along with cell components along the neuron straight to the spinal cord. Once in the spinal cord, the virus caught the first available ride to the brain, where it wrought havoc before speeding through the rest of the body, shutting it down organ by organ. Huh.
Nice.
Rabies is gnarly.
That is brutal.
Yeah. So if you get bit by an animal you suspect may have rabies, go to the hospital immediately.
Don't take our advice. Take the advice of the 55,000 people who didn't and can't tell you. But if they could, they would probably tell you.
Yes. All right. Thank you for that. I guess it is time now, everyone. This Week in Science, you ready? Are we ready? Uh-huh.
She loves our creatures, cried and small. Biped, millipede, no pet at all. Wanna hear about animals? She's your girl. Except for giant pandas and squirrels that are both cold.
Well, let's start the alliterative experience, shall we?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I'm going to start with this really exciting story about fish. And Kiki, I don't know if you can pull up this story on your laptop, but if you do, we might be able to listen to some of these sounds in this story.
That's a great idea.
Researchers, for the first time, have found talking fish larvae. So fish make noise. Did you guys know this? Fish make sounds under the water. And I think we're just...
Water. I know they make sounds in frying pans.
Huh. But so I know, we might expect them to sing songs in Disney movies, but other than that, fish don't appear to have too much to say, but they do make sounds. But this is the first time ever they've exhibited sounds in a larval state. So in a recent experiment, scientists had these fish lay eggs in a laboratory environment, and then they recorded any possible sounds going on. And what they found was that these larvae make a wide variety of sounds. These are gray snappers that live off the coast of Florida. And in the wild, these female snappers would drop their eggs into open ocean, into seagrass beds. And then the larvae will emerge, live off food in the seagrass until they're old enough to swim away. And so they put a camera, microphone, lights, all in a waterproof clear box and dropped it into a laboratory situation, but also into the ocean. And they found was that these guys made a few different sounds. So one of them was a knocking sound, and another one was a growling sound. And they're not 100% sure why they would make these sounds, because snappers don't have a whole lot of parental care. They pretty much just drop the eggs and go. But they're pretty similar to the sounds that adults make. And they also found that the pattern of sounds was different depending on if they were in open ocean or if they were in the lab. In the lab, they made more sounds per interval, and they had longer times in between. Maybe they were listening for a reply and didn't get any. That's what their hypothesis was. And so they're not sure why. There we go. So that's the knock. It's
so faint.
Yeah. Another teeny tiny larva.
Can you barely hear that growl?
Yeah.
It's either a growl or a fish purr.
Yeah, it is kind of like a fish purr. Adorable. So researchers don't know why they're making these sounds. They could be practicing for when they're adults, or they could be trying to get attention of adults nearby. But again, these fish are not known to have parental care, so we're not sure why that would be. But that's wild. Baby fish making sounds.
Yeah, and it's not loud. I mean, they're tiny larvae, right? So it's not like they can produce a massive sound that would be frightening to a potential predator, someone who would want to eat their eggs. they could
Right.
make sounds that would scare them away. But yeah, interesting question. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's the loud larva. Next, let's move on to sticky spiders, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone's favorite spider, daddy longlegs.
Oh, I do like that spider.
They have special spider glue. So scientists have previously seen that these daddy longlegs, or huntsman spider, they have gooey hairs on their pedipalps, on their legs, and they found that it's a special kind of glue that they use to prevent prey from escape.
Ooh.
Yeah. So they will use this to catch their food. So in the lab, they captured specimens. They brought them in, and then they brought some of their favorite prey, springtails, little arthropods, and they used high-speed cameras to film how the spider would catch them. And they found that when they went in to grab the springtail, the spider squirted a little bit of their glue onto it, and it kept them from escaping. Next, the researchers cut off some of the spider's pedipalps to look at the fluid up close. They found that the fluid had the adhesive strength of a glue strong enough to hold an entire springtail when it was suspended upside down. So it's strong enough to hold on to this whole other animal, this little arthropod.
Wow.
Then, this is my favorite part, they froze using liquid nitrogen the spider after they had glued a springtail. So once they were attached, they froze them with liquid nitrogen so that they could put them under a cryo-scanning microscope to figure out how the glue worked. And so the glue, it completely wetted the cuticle on the springtail so that it could overcome the liquid-repelling microstructures on the springtail. And that allowed them to get a really good grip, one strong enough to hold on, even while the springtail was trying to jump away.
So if you've got somebody, you've got a prey that is tricky, can jump away quickly, you want to be able to grab them and hold on to them so that they just don't get away. And even with the pressure of the force of the jump that they might be able to make.
Not good enough. That glue is so sticky.
Sticky, sticky spider glue.
So that was your nightmare fodder for the evening, everyone, since it's expected. And then the last one. Ooh, that's a fun video, though.
Yes, we've got a video showing right now for those of you who are listening to the podcast of a daddy longlegs trying to eat a springtail. And the springtail actually works kind of as a lever to push away from the daddy longlegs, but the daddy longlegs is just holding on. Holding on with all its might.
That's terrifying.
Thank goodness that daddy longlegs their mouths are so small that they can't really bite us.
Yes, they're not dangerous to humans. That's a very good point. We should definitely have that
What do you mean
disclaimer.
they're not dangerous to humans? They're our best friend. They're the household
they're wonderful.
vermin exterminator, pest collector. They go around and kill the mosquitoes, the fly that was buzzing around, that was bugging you all night when you couldn't sleep. But finally, around 3 in the morning, you managed to fall asleep. Why? Because the daddy longleg got him. That's why.
Yeah.
So
I
now
know.
we can just be happy that we know more about how the daddy longleg works.
There we go. We can be happy that the daddy longlegs is the one that has that weapon in its arsenal, the stickiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I name if there's a daddy longleg in the house, like if I see one up in the corner take over, I name it and I leave it. I let that's their spot now. They claimed it.
I was terrified of daddy longlegs as a child because of the long legs. They scared me so bad.
Really?
But
You
yeah,
didn't think they just looked super cool?
no, terrifying. Anyway,
I love them.
let's talk about something with a spine. Let's talk about birds. Let's talk about birds that have an eye for design when it comes to their nest. They're very particular. Turns out that researchers from the University of St. Andrews have found that birds actually have a lot of kind of purposeful feng shui when it comes to their nest.
Nice.
So they took male zebra finches and they wallpapered their cages in different colors. And then they had paper strips strewn around the room of different colors. And the zebra finches, on the whole, chose strips that were color matched to the paper on the walls of their cage.
Camouflage.
Yeah, so
That's what it
they...
sounds like, right?
What's that?
Yeah, it sounds like camouflage.
Yeah, it's camouflage. So they were able to camouflage their nests. They thought about it. They went, that wall is blue. I'm going to grab some blue pieces of paper to make my nest. So they definitely had a thought process where they made this thing to camouflage into the walls. What's more, they didn't just make a blue nest on a blue wall. They chose a very small proportion of paper strips that were not the same color as the walls. Do you know why they would do that? Either of you?
For the inside of the nest?
Nope.
The backside of it?
It's scattered throughout the nest, this other color. So that's called disruptive camouflage. And so by using a tiny bit of the not camouflage material, they're breaking up the shape. So otherwise, it'd be a blue nest-shaped thing on a blue wall. So if it's a slightly different texture, if it catches the sunlight different, if there's a shadow, then it's a nest-shaped thing. But if it has a little bit of different colors speckled throughout it, that's called disruptive coloration because it breaks apart the shape, which is why you'll see a lot of things like spots and stripes on animals in the wild, is disruptive coloration so that they don't look shaped like the thing that they are. So they took their camouflage to a whole nother level. They didn't just make a nest that was the same color as the wall. They used two kinds of camouflage when they made their nests. So the zebra finches really were doing their best to hide their nest from predators. And we know that birds will choose a particular place for their nest for camouflage. They'll pick an area that's well covered or an area out of the way. But this is the first time we've been able to see that they actually pick colors when they make their nest. Before we just kind of thought they use browns and greens because that's what's around. But it looks like now they definitely do it on purpose.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I wonder if there's anything related to like complementary colors or shading that if they were given, a whole bunch of colors to choose from, like how exactly they would pick the disruptive colors. Whether it would be any colors for disruption or whether it would be, a sub shade or, something very particular.
It's a good question. It's a good question of how exact they are about it, for sure.
Yeah, how are they really creating their environment there?
And then you have to wonder, does every few birds just make a nest that doesn't fit at all?
One of these birds is doing their own thing. That's right.
You're like, this is blue, right?
No.
No, that bird would die.
Yeah.
But I think especially it's interesting that the color choice blue, because blue is not in nature. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
A bird can't really have a preference for a blue nest, right? It's just not out there.
Right, but if the walls are blue and they're trying to camouflage, they're going to be searching for the similar color, and yeah. But then the similar question is like the bowerbirds that we've talked about before, who specifically go after blue items.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they'll use red to show contrast. Yeah, they're very good with colors. I just picture a bird holding up fabric samples going, what do you think about this one? No, that's too bold. How about this one?
I think this one will look good on the couch over there. Yes. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the first half of This Week in Science. We still have a second half of the show. There is more to come, and we're going to take a very short break, and we hope that you will stay with us during that time to find out lots more about expanding brains and world robot domination by the Navy. Stay tuned. There's more coming This Week in Science. TWIS is here for your listening pleasure, but, you know, it's kind of hard to keep this thing going sometimes, so we appreciate the support that you give us in many different ways. First way you can help us, support us, buy our swag, wear our stuff, t-shirts, hats, tote bags, whatever that has our TWIS logo emblazoned on it. Tell the world that you love TWIS, or maybe buy something for a friend. How awesome would that be? TWIS has a store. It's our Zazzle store. So go to twis.org and look for the Zazzle store link in the main header bar. Super easy. Click there. You can search to your heart's content for the items that might make you swagalicious happy. I did just make up a word. There we go. Anyway, moving on. Donations. TWIS is also supported by listeners like you, and we accept donations in any form and in any amount really that you're able to give. $2 to $200, whatever you're capable of giving. We really do appreciate it because your donations keep this show going. They help us pay for things that we need to pay for: bandwidth, hosting, I don't know, contractors we need to hire to make new things, equipment to make new things, and we just want to make new things, and thank you for helping us do that. If you would like to donate and you have not yet, please do so. Our website makes it possible with PayPal buttons all over the site. So if you go to twis.org, look for the PayPal buttons. We make it nice and easy. PayPal, 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 everywhere, twis.org. Patreon is the other way that you can support us. Patreon is kind of like Kickstarter, in which you support us and then you get a little gift in return. It's not much, but we do want to give something back to you and try and create a different way of interacting with you, our community. And so patreon.com, it's Patreon, patreon.com/thisweekinscience. That's where you go, patreon.com/thisweekinscience, to be able to donate whatever amount you would like on a monthly basis or on a show-by-show basis, and do it in an ongoing way so that we can keep bringing this science stuff to you. Can't afford a donation? Totally understand that. You can help us out by sharing TWIS with your friends and family. When I share a link and you see it in social media, you share the link too. Share it. Spread stuff through social media. Tell your friends about the things that we're doing. It would really help out if you used your social media networks to help us spread our science a little bit further. We thank you for your support, and we really could not do what we do without you.
Explain the things you heard with more than intuition. The line of reason shows the way to go. No conclusion. The method to hypothesis and patience are the only things I need. Put on a pair of goggles and go looking for the things I could.
And we're back with more This Week in Science.
Woohoo! Hey, Justin, you have a story for us?
I do have a story for us. Here, let me track it down before I delve into it. Here we go. Okay. So here's the thing. So it's the weirdest of feelings. It's the strangest of sensations. One moment, you're on the medical table thinking you might die. Hoping that you won't, but thinking based on the look on the doctor's face, the busyness of the nurses, the activity that's going around you, that there's a chance you're going to die. So you fight the only way that you can in a situation like that. You do nothing. You let the professionals take over, and maybe there's an anesthetic, maybe there's not. At some point, one of two outcomes is going to occur. You enter cardiac arrest. Your heart has ceased to function. And one of the two outcomes is that you'll come to and be like, whoa, that just happened. And the other is you won't. So, researchers wanted to figure out what exactly is taking place in those instances where you came back and have some sort of a recollection. Now, there's all sorts of near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, these sort of things that are reported. And they wanted to find out what is really going on there. So they did a 4-year, this is an international study of 2,060 cardiac cases over 15 hospitals. I don't know how you'd subscribe to be part of that group of volunteers who volunteers for a test like this, but they had the study had 2,060 patients from 15 hospitals, the United Kingdom, United States, and Australia. And what they did is they went through and they did interviews with people about the experience of dying, essentially. Right? Not dead because they came back, right? But the heart stopped. And in some cases, what they found was interesting is that there seemed to be recollections. So here's what the study was concluding. The themes related to the experience of death appear far broader than we have been understanding so far, or what has been described as the so-called near-death experiences. Also, in some cases of cardiac arrest, memories of visual awareness compatible with the so-called out-of-body experiences may correspond with actual events. And in some cases, those were a little odd because the cardiac arrest event went on for longer. In one case, I think it was 3 minutes. And it's expected that the brain basically is going to shut down without the blood flow in about 90 seconds. So some of these seem to have been a little bit odd there. A higher proportion of people may have vivid death experiences. This sort of, to me, belays a little bit of a bias, perhaps, in the study. It says a higher proportion of people may have vivid death experiences, but do not recall them due to the effects of brain injury or sedative drugs on memory circuits. Maybe that's true, maybe that isn't, but it seems like they're asking for there to be more of an experience there.
Yeah, I mean, what they are saying, I mean, we do know that with heart attacks, when blood stops, there's oxygen deprivation to cells, there is memory loss, and people do suffer memory problems, sometimes losing their memory after they've lost consciousness for months afterwards. Sometimes they never regain it, but there are memory issues with that period of time surrounding the loss of consciousness, especially if blood flow is interrupted. So
got you. So okay, so I get it. So but then what it also sort of means that is, if you're going to call this an experience of a death experience, then it's really interesting. Yes. Okay. So one is the experience that you're having now while death is taking place. The other is related to whether or not you remember it, which is totally relevant to the experience at the moment. Okay. So it says, widely used yet scientifically imprecise terms, such as near-death and out-of-body experience, may not be sufficient to describe the actual experience of death. Future studies should focus on cardiac arrest only, which is the, heart has stopped, blood flow is not going, rather than what is often thrown into the same category is medical states referred to as near death. Somebody who's very sick or ill and seems to be on the verge of passing, and maybe they were, but they still didn't have cardiac arrest.
They didn't have cardiac arrest, so they're not really near death.
You're not really dead.
Yeah, no, you're only partly dead.
You're close, but that's the guy.
So
we gotta
what
start pulling out Princess Bride quotes now.
makes
Mostly dead.
this different from a dream?
So I'll hazard a shot at that one. What makes it different from a dream is that in a dream, your your mind is making sense of events that took place during the day and is actively consolidating memories, and there is actually there are processes going on, and the dreams involve metaphor revolving around experiences and how you feel. And the near-death experiences very often are a result. So tunnel-like vision, so seeing a bright light at the end of a tunnel, that is often stated as that's a loss of oxygen and perception, the visual cortex starting to shut down. So the bright light is what remains of what your eyes are actually and your brain is actually processing any further. Other aspects of out-of-body experiences, like seeing your body from floating on the ceiling or whatever, these are perception changes in perception. So parts of your brain become inactive, it allows other parts of the brain to kind of dictate what your conscious experience is.
So, it still seems like a little bit of a fine line to me, because the fact that you're on a surgical table means that you know you're there. And it wouldn't be that difficult for your brain to just make that skip and jump to creating these visions as part of a dream state.
Sure. I mean, there's definitely a fine line there, and maybe there is some amount of I don't know, is there a shutdown procedure for the brain? Who knows? Does the brain kind of go boop, 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 and like shut down things in a certain order?
Assistant professor of critical care medicine and director of resuscitation research at the State University of New York at Stony Brook. He's the study's lead author. He explains, contrary to perception, death is not a specific moment, but a potentially reversible process that occurs after any severe illness or accident causes the heart, lungs, and brain to cease functioning. If attempts are made to reverse this process, it is referred to as cardiac arrest. However, if these attempts do not succeed, it is called death. In this study, we wanted to go beyond the emotionally charged yet poorly defined terms and explore objectively what will happen when we die. So this is interesting. 39% of patients, and I don't know if I've got these numbers right, because I don't know if the 39% of the patients who they studied, because I guess they had to study all 2,060. I guess they only studied people who had actually died, because this isn't something people signed up for. It's like, yeah, when I go in there and if I have a cardiac arrest, talk to me afterwards. They didn't sign up for this. They've pre-selected people who went into cardiac arrest and are back, right? So 39%, then I'm assuming, of that percentage who survived. Oh, it's even there's a that's why this is also confusing. 39% of patients who survived cardiac arrest and were able to undergo structured interviews described a perception of awareness, but did not have any actual recall, no explicit details, no explicit recollections of the event. Just went away, sort of was aware something was happening, then I was back.
You can do this to yourself by drinking too much alcohol. I was there, and then I don't remember anything, and then I was back, and I was doing something else. It's called a blackout.
Right,
Not something I would recommend.
That's what
your brain.
That is what Parney suggests. Yeah, suggests this suggests more people may have mental activity initially, but lose their memory after recovery, either due to the effects of brain injury or sedative drugs on memory recall. Among those who reported perception of awareness and completed further interviews, 46%, and again, I don't know what percentage of these they're saying, who reported the perception awareness. I don't know what percentage of that people there are, but 46% experienced a broad range of mental recollections in relation to death that were not compatible with commonly used terms of near-death experiences. These included fearful, persecutory experiences. Only 9% had experiences compatible with the standard near-death experience. I'm not even sure what that could even mean, though, compatible with near-death experiences. 2% exhibited full awareness compatible with the out-of-body experience, with explicit recalls of hearing and seeing events. One case was validated and timed using auditory stimuli during cardiac arrest. So this was the one, wait, this isn't a backward study then. Listen to this. One case was validated and timed using auditory stimuli during cardiac arrest. Dr. Parnia concluded this is significant since it has often been assumed that experiences in relation to death are likely hallucinations or illusions occurring either before the heart stops or after the heart has been successfully restarted, but not an experience corresponding with real events when the heart isn't beating. In this case, both consciousness and awareness appeared to be occurring during a 3-minute period where there was no heartbeat. This is paradoxical since the brain typically ceases functioning within 20 to 30 seconds of the heart stopping and doesn't resume again until the heart has been restarted. Furthermore, the detailed recollections of visual awareness in the case were consistent with verified events. Thus, it was not possible to absolutely prove the reality or meaning of patients' experiences and claims of awareness due to low incidences of this, of explicit recall of visual awareness or so-called OBEs. It was impossible to disclaim them either, and more work is needed in this area. Clearly, the recalled experience surrounding death now merits further genuine investigation without prejudice.
Yeah, I mean, I think the without prejudice is the important, or without bias is an important part. So going into it, I have a bias where I am a reductionist when it comes to the brain and consciousness. And so I'm going to come at it from a perspective of when you die, when the brain stops working, okay, the brain stops functioning within 20 to 30 seconds, but you still have a certain amount of ionic concentrations and gradients within cells. You have nerve paths that are probably already in process, things that are going on. And do those actually, maybe it can't be read by the EEGs that they're using, but maybe there is activity that's happening, and it's just enough, and it's still enough of, the neurons still have enough juice in them to keep things going until the heart has been restarted.
See, what I would really want is to be able to scan people's brains while this is all happening, see what's lighting up, see what's going on. The problem is you have to then induce cardiac arrest in an MRI. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, maybe not.
Be like, we're losing him. Get the MRI.
Yeah, and for anybody out there, if you are, interested in keeping track of how long it is going to be till you die, there is a watch for you. It's called the ticker. And it will count down how long you have left. It'll also tell you what time. I don't know, but that's what it does. It'll also tell you the time. It's called the ticker. It's out there.
Oh my gosh.
So hilarious, right?
The happiness watch. How is that the happiness watch?
Well, if you're constantly worried or being reminded that you don't have much time left, or that time is counting down, maybe you're going to be more likely to be active and present in your life in ways that will make you happier.
I don't know.
That's the argument. Being present, Another brainy story. How about the amazing, expanding brain? Dun, dun, dun. So evolutionarily, we have talked about the expansion of the neocortex as being the super important part of the brain for human cognition. We talk about the visual areas, the language centers, all all of the things that in the cortex allow us to do the things that make us human, quote unquote, to think the thoughts that humans think. A study that just came out in Current Biology suggests that maybe the neocortex isn't all that. I mean, it is all that, but maybe we're not looking in the right places. Maybe we need to be looking someplace else. The cerebellum. And it turns out that the cerebellum actually went through a massive expansion in volume in ape and human brain evolution. Researchers mapped used comparative structures to look at the way the cerebellum and neocortex varied across primates in proportion to body size. And they found that at a certain point, the cerebellum left the relationship that it normally had with body size and just started growing and getting bigger, denser. And so people looking at the neocortex have always done that because it seemed to show the most expansion and variation in apes and humans. But turns out that that in non-human apes and humans, they depart from the tight correlation in size between cerebellum and neocortex found across other primates due to relatively rapid evolutionary expansion of the cerebellum. And the cerebellum is really, we've thought that it's only, people have always talked about it as being important for movement, and it's really important in learning behaviors like learning how to pitch a baseball, do sequences of movements that are important, and there's something that happens in the timing of how nerves fire within the cerebellum that dictates the timing of sequences of movements that we learn. So you learn how to throw in a certain path. You start the ball back here, and you bring it forward and release the ball at a certain point in the arc. The cerebellum is keeping track of timing to make sure you can do that in a particular way. Cerebellum has also been is starting to be looked at more and more for language as well, because language is also something that is learned, and it's a movement-based behavior. So there are some really interesting things related to what's going on in the cerebellum, and people really haven't looked into it or talked about it all that much. And so this is a kind of neat study, and it's suggested that this could kind of take us in a different way in how we think about the brain and how the structures of the brain work together. The cerebellum.
Nice.
It's our little mini-me brain in the back of our brain. It sits back there. It's like we have two brains in our head. It's a sensory organ as well. It gets full sensory input. It's not just the thalamus that's important to senses.
Maybe that's the part having the near-death experience.
Maybe, yeah.
Everything else shuts off. It's like, hey, where'd everybody go?
Maybe the basal brain. I mean, they don't stick
Hello?
EEG stuff on the cerebellum. That's all on the neocortex. It's possible. I don't know. Yeah, who knows? The cerebellum, it needs to be explored more. That's what we're finding. All right. Justin, do you have any more stories?
Oh, really quick. When you take a shower, and you rinse the soap and shampoo from your body, the foam goes down the drain. Have you ever thought about what happens to the surfactants afterwards? Huh? Whether they seep into the groundwater, the lakes, the streams, they could pose threat to fish or frog.
Yeah, I have thought about that occasionally. More often when I'm doing my laundry and wondering whether it's like a high phosphoric laundry detergent or whatever. Yeah. It concerns me.
There
These
isn't.
are the things I think about.
They took those out. There's no phosphates in there anymore.
Yeah, I know.
They took them out. That was the 50s. They're gone. So they did a study. It was a survey of 250 different scientific studies over several decades, looking checking to see if surfactants had an impact on the environment, seeing as how we use millions of tons of surfactants a year globally. It turns out, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Not really that big a deal. Awesome.
That's
actually
great.
really good to know.
Yeah.
So pay more attention to other things that could be in your soap that could be a problem instead.
Yeah, like
plastic.
Like
Yes,
plastic.
microbeads.
microbeads.
That's right. The microbeads and the antibacterial agents.
Yes. Yeah.
Microbeads and antibacterials.
The soap itself is safe.
Yeah.
The other
Yeah.
stuff they're mixing
That's
with your soap.
very good news. TWIS listeners know how I feel about soap, so this pleases me.
We all have strong opinions about soap on this show.
Blair was,
It's kind of odd.
Blair in her head was like, I don't care what he's gonna say. I don't care what it's killing. I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna use soap.
Must be clean.
I'm going to scrub myself with oatmeal.
Oh, they did note though that globally there is a cumulative. Huh?
Cumulative.
Cumulative lemony fresh scent. That's.
Yay!
I don't know if I can cheer for that. World Robot Domination. It's lemony fresh.
Dun, 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 dun,
Because it's in the water. It's in the water. That's right. The U.S. Navy. The U.S. Navy is going to dominate with robots. Seriously. They have adapted NASA Martian rover technology for some of their ships. They are creating patrol boats with no sailors that actually don't even have to be controlled by sailors either. They're pretty autonomous. And one person can control up to 20 of these patrol boats. They're basically, that person would basically just be an overseer to be sure that the patrol boats didn't accidentally
Rebel?
shooting at the wrong person. Yeah, exactly, that they didn't rebel. So the story is that in August they did a demonstration on the James River in Virginia using 13 robotic patrol crafts in a simulated scenario of moving a larger ship through what would be considered a strait. So an area that would kind of be narrow and maybe easy to attack and a sensitive situation. So the boats encircled and swarmed the target, enabling it to move safely through the area. And they were very excited about the results. These can be outfitted with non-violent weapons.
Yeah, that's a weapon still.
Or they can have like big guns on them that would be fired from a distance. But the idea is that they would put that kind of stuff under the control of a sailor, but there doesn't have to be any sailor on these ships. And there is a kill switch that if any of the boats starts going out of control or loses contact with the controlling agency, then they go dead in the water.
Go rogue.
Yeah, if they go rogue.
Well, this is first of all, congratulations to Nikola Tesla, who I proposed this idea to the Navy 100 years ago. This was his idea of remote control, using radio to remote control things. He pitched it to the Navy, and they flat out rejected him. 100 or so years later now, finally coming around. The other thing that occurs to me is, who else even has a Navy? Like, who does navies anymore? The Navy thing is over. I think we're done with navies.
Beg to differ on that one.
Yeah.
Really? There's still navies in the world?
Yeah, they're still training dolphins and stuff.
They are. But while we are concerned so much about aircraft drones, which are actually piloted, they're basically AC planes, like they're controlled by a pilot on the ground who can see through them. These patrol craft would not necessarily have to be individually controlled. So this is a different level of technology, and I think it's just something that it's not going to have the same kind of impact as the drone technology, but still, this is something that is definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, so these would just be surveyors, though, right? They're not looking to arm these things yet.
Oh, they could. No, they were saying that yes.
That seems concerning, because who is at fault if something goes awry with these armed autonomous robots?
Nobody. That's the beauty of it. Software glitch.
Ugh.
That's why it's so awesome. Sorry, didn't mean to kill you. It's a software glitch. This is actually we've already been through this before. Was it Australia? There's some place where an automated gun killed somebody, killed the soldiers, friendly fire, right? From robot to its co-soldier. And it was, it's a glitch. It wasn't supposed to fire. That's it. What do? You don't wait. You can't incarcerate. There's nothing to... How do you place blame on a robot? That's why the military wants them. The only thing, I just think the Navy, though, being at sea, I feel like you've got to have like a steely-eyed captain watching the waves who just like knows the sea like an old friend or an old foe, you know? Like he's reading the waves and the clouds and like he just knows the ocean so well. I think a robot's like, well, I want to go left, and then I want to go right, and then I want to go, and then you're going to end up, you hit a rogue wave because you took the wrong angle, you go under. I just don't know but I guess they figured that out because that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly where these ships are going to be. They're not going to be like super deep ocean, like way out ocean vessels. They're the rigid hulled inflatable boats. They hold about 3 to 4 sailors. Most likely, they would be closer to shore.
Wait, they hold sailors?
They can. They usually hold 3 to 4 sailors, but they're created with this robotic system. They're small. They're 11 meters long.
This is surveillance. This is surveillance stuff.
Surveillance, patrol, and protection of larger ships as they go through sensitive areas.
Coast Guard or search and rescue.
Potentially, yeah.
Perfect for search and rescue. You can set it out there, crisscross this vector.
Yeah.
Make a grid, look for wreckage.
Right. There are all sorts of positive possibilities. I mean, the thing that I'm thinking, though, is pirates. Pirates off the Indian Ocean.
Totally hack in and then have their own
have their own fleet of robotic ships. That's gonna be great. Oh my gosh!
By doing this, there is now mine.
Yes, Blair, tell me a couple of stories.
Oh, just a couple of headlines. Sugary drinks are linked to memory problems in adolescent rats, not adult rats. The adult rats had the same effect as rats that hadn't drank any sugary drinks at all. No effect on their brain. But the adolescent rats who drank the sugary drinks with sucrose or high fructose corn syrup, both of them had a bunch of brain and memory problems afterwards.
Whoa.
Yeah. So soda's bad for you. Newsflash.
Too much sugar.
Yeah. And then also, your addiction to caffeine might be genetic. Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, scientists have found 6 new genetic variants that are associated with habitual coffee drinking. And it looks like these variants could identify whether or not you have a response to caffeine, whether or not you get addicted to caffeine, and how much caffeine you need to have a response. So, it's in your blood.
It's in your blood. I read a study that it's also your not just your IQ that can be dictated by your genes, but your ability to achieve in school.
Oh boy.
But it's not. It was more like hey, your genes are related to your personality. They're related to your energy levels. They're related to all these things that make up who you are. And so you might have a high IQ, but you don't like to do stuff. You're not, your personality, you're just like, meh, whatever. we're kind of laid back, whatever. So there are other. It's not a new story. It's just like, oh, if you look at it that way, I guess so. Yeah.
It's always nature and nurture. Always.
Always. I will absolutely agree with that. Soylent 1.1 is going to be coming out. We've talked about Soylent on the show. It's I don't know if it's very yummy kind of meal replacement beverage that was created by a guy trying to make it. Yeah, no, it's not people. At least he says it's not people. But it's been created with very strict nutrition. Like they're testing and they're trying to make it like as much of a complete nutritional substance for meal replacement as possible. They did a Kickstarter and they've...
At the end of it, right? This is the ultimate meal for 2.5% of the population.
Right.
Because if you're tailoring it, you're tailoring it. You know, I mean, there's gonna be things that you need that I don't need, and I need this, but you don't need that, and then we'd have to have 5 of these things instead of just 1 to get the things that we want.
So what they are doing, they did a Kickstarter and they've sent out the first orders to the people who supported them on Kickstarter. They haven't been able to create enough product to be able to sell to new customers, people who are currently ordering on the website. And now they've come up with the next version. They're naming it like a computer operating system. Soylent 1.1 is now going to reduce the amount of sugar in it for the sweet taste because they've found that people like adding things like fruit juices and peanut butter to the mix themselves to get flavor. And the original version seemed to cause a side effect. No, wait.
How is it possible to add both peanut butter or fruit juice to the same thing to add flavor? It must be absolutely flavorless to be able to add either peanut butter or fruit juice. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And so the side effects of version 1 was intense gas.
Oh, no.
Lots of carbohydrates seemed to, and I guess the fiber or something, there's lots of carbohydrates within it led to large amounts of gas for people who were taking it sporadically. So if you took it regularly, like for every meal, your body got used to it. But if you just meal replaced every once in a while, you were likely to experience horrible gas afterwards. And so now they have put digestive enzymes in the Soylent to reduce gas.
I'm on the Soylent website right now. And if you scroll down, there's lots of interesting stuff on here. But what is Soylent made of? Hint, it's not people.
You got it. You have to make that clear.
Yeah. So they're saying Soylent, prepare multiple meals in minutes. No need to shop for individual ingredients or plan ahead. Money, spend less than $10 per day on food and less than $4 per meal. And nutrition, eat balanced and wholesome, get all of the essential nutrients required to fuel the human body. So, but if this thing gives you intense gas, that to me indicates that it's probably not, it might be all the nutrients your body needs, but it doesn't sound like what your gut bacteria wants.
It's not working with the bacteria that well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess if you eat it enough, then your bacteria changes, and then it's okay. So then what happens if you eat real food? Do you then just feel like you're going to die?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer these questions, not having experienced it myself.
So should we all go on an experiment cleanse as an experiment?
Right? Maybe we should order it and see what we can see what happens. We'll probably end up getting version 1.1, and we can see how that affects us.
I have an idea.
And so Blair's got her microphone muted again. I guess she's
no, she doesn't.
Experiencing the gas.
No, she doesn't.
We'll go back to Kirsten. Kirsten just had to mute her mic too. But it looks like we've got Blair back, and Blair. Oh, she's gone again. Wow, this is really
gross.
This is really amazing.
So what I was going to say is, for the right Patreon support level, perhaps I would be willing to try it for a couple of weeks and see what happens.
Was it intense or extreme gas?
No, but this would be 1.1, Justin. It'd be fine.
It'd be fine. It'll have digestive enzymes.
Yeah. So 1.1.
well,
It's fine.
Good for you. It's good for you.
And you could either put peanut butter or fruit juice in it to make it taste like something.
You can. That's right. Exactly.
Isn't that defeating the purpose of a meal replacement, though? If you're putting a bunch
adding
of
stuff
stuff in
into
there?
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Seems odd. All right. Anyway.
Of all this. So anyway, a couple of quickie headlines. You might have heard it already. There has been the first reported Ebola transmission outside of Africa. A Spanish nurse who has reportedly contracted Ebola from a priest who was working in West Africa and became ill after treating patients there and was then flown back to his home country of Spain. The nurse who was treating him was not trained as well as possible, and probably as a result of a lack of training, a lack of preparedness on the organizations, the health organizations involved, she has become ill with Ebola. And additionally, the Ebola-infected patient in Dallas who was in critical condition earlier this week has died. And that's the Ebola news. That's all I'm going to give it this week because I don't want to fearmonger. And bats, they like trees, which is unfortunate to them because it seems that they think windmills are trees. And this is why they're getting killed by windmills. Yeah, researchers took a look at how bats were interacting with windmills, and basically what it comes down to, the patterns that the authors identified, is that bats are less likely to approach windmills when the wind is higher, so they're moving faster. It's during slight light winds that they approach windmills most often. And so it's possible that if during light winds, windmills can be turned off, if that's not economically going to affect the output of the wind farm, it could potentially save bats' lives, because when they're not moving that fast, bats think they're trees, and then they die, which is not cool. And that's the news I got.
So we need a sign in bat language that says, "Warning, I am not a tree."
Yeah, exactly. In bat language, I am not a tree.
Well, here's the thing, though. Most bat colonies, where do they range in? Aren't they like, isn't a bat colony in like the tens of millions? I mean, they're huge. They're vast colonies. A couple get downed in a...
No, there are many, many bats. The reason this is being studied is that it's not just a few. There are many, many bats that are being affected.
Yeah, and even then, there's so many multi-millions of them. However, for every bat that dies, several pounds of buzzy, stingy, bitey, crawly bugs, moths, mosquitoes, flies are allowed to live. So let's keep the bats safe, people. My last story of the night: a fundamental law of physics has been confirmed. Yeah, experiments testing Einstein's time dilation and quantum electrodynamics has been confirmed. They did a test involving lasers.
Laser beams.
At Technische Universität Darmstadt, which I think is somewhere in France. No, Germany. And yeah, what it looks like is, they managed to record a time dilation of 34% using what was it? Heavy ion in a heavy ion storage ring. And I think the closest we've done before is within just a few percent with the clocks from the planes, and we flew them around, and it was not even a percentage point, it was a nanoseconds apart there. But this, they got a 34 measured velocity at about 34% of the speed of light in the time dilation. So that's pretty big.
That is big. That is big.
Still need a physicist, Kiki. I still need a physicist to ask about what's the difference between a time dilation and an entangled particle, because they seem like the same thing to me.
All right. We will work on this for a future episode of This Week in Science. For everyone out there who's been listening, I think we are done with the show. I'd like to thank our Patreon sponsors for their support. It is that time. Brian Condren, Kevin, Patrick Cohn, Kevin Donald Wesley Ballard, Paul D. Disney, Sam Winsier, John Ratnaswamy, Rudy Garcia, Aubrey Burgess, Stephen B., Jason Dozier, Matthew Litwin, Eric Knapp, Andreas Akestad, Jason Roberts, Shane and Tara Ginsberg, Byron Lee, E.O., Bob Calder, Jared Lysette, Ulysses Adkins, Jake Jones, Cassie Lester, Chris Cross, Sarah Chavez, Stephen Sorowiec, Layla, Paul Stanton, Marshall Clark, Charlene Davidson Henry, Violated Gorilla, Don Komarechka, Randy Mazuka, Ed Dyer, and Tony Steele, Led Trentoni and Moody, Larry Garcia, Richard Bowersox, Kevin Parachan, Craig Landon, Russell Jensen, Mountain Sloth, Jim Drapeau, Darren Lute, Tara Payne, Alex Wilson, Daryl Lambert, John H. Maloney, Jason Olds, Gordon Grant, James Paul West, Lauren Lang, Ed Bennett, Thomas Mikinen, Alec Doty, Illumina Lama, Nick Gradwell, Dan Rambo, Dougal Campbell, TMRO, Miko Pakala, Craig Porter, Adam Mishkan, Jason Martin, Marjorie, Scott Lachewski, Tyler Harrison, Ben Rothig, Columbo Ahmed, and Gary Swinsberg. Thank you so much for your support. We could not do this without your support. And on next week's show, we will be back again on Wednesday night, live on twis.org/live at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for those of you who would like to watch live. And if you're interested in supporting us, you can also go to patreon.com/thisweekinscience. If you can't make our live show and join the chat room and all the fun, don't worry, we still have a podcast. And we're available on YouTube, YouTube/thisweekinscience. And don't forget to tell a friend about TWIS.
Yeah, that's rare. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. TWIS is also available as a podcast. Just Google This Week in Science in your iTunes directory. Or if you have a mobile device, you can Google TWIS for Droid in the Android marketplace, or simply TWIS, TWIS in the Apple marketplace.
For more information on anything you've heard here today, show notes will be available on our website. What's our website? It's www.twis.org. That's TWIS.org. There you can also make comments and start conversations with the hosts as well as other listeners.
Or you can hit us up directly. Email Kirsten at thisweekinscience.com, Justin at twistminion@gmail.com, or Blair at blairbaz@twis.org. Just put TWIS, TWIS, in the subject line, or your email will be spam filtered into oblivion. You can also hit us up on the Twitter, where we are at TWIScience, at Dr. Kiki, at JacksonFly, and at Blair's Menagerie. We love your feedback. If there's a topic you would like us to cover or address, a suggestion for an interview, a haiku that comes to you in the night, please let us know.
We'll be back here next week, and we hope you'll join us again for some more great science news.
And if you've learned anything from this show, remember,
it's all in your head.
This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science, it's the end of the world. So I'm setting up shop, got my banner unfurled. It says the scientist is in, I'm gonna sell my advice. Show them how to stop the robots with a simple device. I'll reverse global warming with a wave of my hand. And all it'll cost you is a couple of grand. 'Cause this week's science is coming your way. So everybody listen to what I say. I use the scientific method for all that it's worth. And I'll broadcast my opinion all over the earth. 'Cause it's This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 I've got one disclaimer, and it shouldn't be news. That what I say may not represent your views, but I've done the calculations and I've got a plan.
If you listen to the science, you may just better understand that we're not trying to threaten your philosophy. We're just trying to save the world from jeopardy. Jeopardy. And this week in science is coming your way. So everybody listen to everything we say. And if you use our method instead of rolling a die, we may rid the world of toxoplasma gondii. Cause it's This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 I've got a laundry list of items I want to address. From stopping global hunger to dredging Loch Ness. I'm trying to promote more rational thought, and I'll try to answer any question you got. But how can I ever see the changes I seek when I can only set up shop 1 hour a week? This Week in Science is coming your way. You better just listen to what we say. And if you've learned anything from the words that we've said, then please just remember it's all in your head. Cause it's This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 This Week in 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 Science.
Boom. And I am so upset. I don't know where my stinking overlays and lower thirds went. They're gone. Why did Google decide to reset me? Google reset me today for some reason. Every Kiki. Yeah, there was a poster. It was a cool poster. We thought it was so cool. We're like, look at us. We look important.
Nice.
It's like printed on thick foam core, too. Like, I need to take a copy of this poster home and say, look, I was somewhere and I talked about things. Hey, UAB, how's it going? Any UABs in the house? A TWIS reality show. This Week in Science Denial. Boo! I don't like that. Yeah, I liked your hat, Blair. That was a nice hat.
Oh, thanks. I bought it so I didn't get skin cancer this weekend.
Perfect. That's what we like.
Doesn't fit over my headphones, though.
No, they usually don't. It's very awkward. Like, wait a minute.
Here, let's see.
Wait a minute. I got a hat to put on, but it's not going to work.
Stand by, stand by, stand by.
Hey, moth, get off of my computer screen. I don't like moths. Go away. You eat my
Oh,
clothes.
this one doesn't fit either.
I am home at Kiki. Home.
If I wear my headphones like a producer, then I can.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, there you go. Looking
No, that's the
good.
new team. What's the Indiana Jones?
The
Yeah,
Indiana
that was right.
Jones theme.
Da, 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 da.
Dun, dun,
So-
dun, 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 dun.
So I was really sad. I made my SoundCloud thing today, my song,
Oh, yeah.
and then they shut it down.
Oh, because it was infringement?
Yeah, because of the Wham music. The music by Wham. I need to figure out how to do the music so that I can put it back up again. How do you do that? How do people get away with? I mean, how do you do a derivative work and
I don't
post
know.
it to share without it getting shut down like that?
It's a percentage, I think. There has to be percentage of new material. Like they have to decide like 10% of it has to be new or something like that.
Yeah. Yay, Space Bats! Space Bats got her doctorate. Sweet. Yeah.
So I haven't been very good at going through my TWIS mail. I need help because I get thousands of emails in there. Most of them are spam, and I don't know how to properly filter it and delete. Because it's a weird, the Horde infrastructure I'm not sure how to use.
Yeah.
The
That's why I don't use
Horde? The Horde? What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
What all I do for my email address is I use Pop Mail and have it forward to my Gmail, and then I get the Gmail filtering, which is pretty awesome. And so then, for the most part, it messes up occasionally, but for the most part, things make it into my inbox that should now. And then I don't have to go
I don't know
someplace
how
else.
to do that. How do I do that?
So you have to go to settings.
Well, I don't have a This Week in Science.
No, you have TWIS.
I have a TWIS, which is different.
It's not that different. I don't think.
Okay.
I mean, it's still the forwarding. You in the Gmail you use forwarding and pop IMAP, and then
okay. All right, hold on. These are words. Hold on.
These are words, right? I am using words.
So in Gmail, what do I do?
Go to settings and then
configure inbox or settings? Settings. Okay.
And then look for forwarding and pop IMAP.
Forwarding. Oh, yep. Yep. Now what? Add forwarding address? No.
And then where did I do this? I think pop download.
Pop download.
Or is it
okay?
Pop? No, wait. I think it's a pop download. And where did I start this? Yeah, Gmail's good for spam filtering. How Steve Everett. How did I put something in here? Not a forwarding address.
I'm apparently supposed to protect the beauty of my garage floor, according to my TWIS.org email. I can get my doctorate online. Who knew?
Who knew?
One trick to prevent heart attacks.
So let's see. Enable IMAP. They encourage IMAP. IMAP offers two-way communication between your Gmail and your email client. This means when you log into Gmail using a web browser, actions you perform on email clients and mobile devices will instantly and automatically appear in Gmail. IMAP also provides a better method to access your mail from multiple devices. It offers a more stable experience overall. So, enable IMAP, and then...
Enable IMAP.
And then I think you have to configure the email client.
Oh my goodness.
This is, oh no. This is too much.
It's really not that hard once you get in. I think I'm just not, because I have it already set up, and I did it once upon a time, and it was simpler. Let's see, accounts and import. Maybe that's where you start. So you want to enable IMAP, And then you want to go to accounts and import. That's where you want to go.
Oh,
And
enable IMAP.
mhm.
And then which?
And then I think you want to go to
Oh, so then I save changes.
save changes.
Okay, so now I have to go back to settings. And then accounts and import. Import mail and contacts.
And
Yeah.
then you can do, here we go, a check mail from other accounts using POP3, add a POP3 mail account you own.
Okay.
And so then you click on that and then it'll tell you what you need. But basically you're just going to need the web address that you would go to, the extension to get the mail, if you were going to do that for your account, and the password, I believe.
Okay. Let's work on that. Okay. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my. Okay, so here's my password. And then I go to web. Okay. Port. Does it matter what number port? Port 110. Does it matter?
I don't think so. 2025, is that another option? Is that right?
No. 110, 143, 993, 995, 1110, 2221.
Go with the 110. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Leave a copy of retrieved messages on the server.
That's if you want it to not delete them when it ports them over to Gmail.
Meh.
And then
Always
it
use a
just fails
secure connection.
Yeah.
Label incoming messages. Yes. Do that. What's the secure connection? Is that something?
I think that helps. I think it's good. You want
Okay. What's archive incoming messages mean? It goes into a separate folder?
Yeah, it goes into an archive folder, I think.
So do you do that? You like that, right? Because it keeps it separate?
No, I don't
No.
do that. You can change it later. But yeah, no, I don't think I do that.
Okay, I won't do it then. Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay, add account. Let's see. There's a problem. Great. Okay, it's not working.
Rourke says 110 is the standard port for POP3, so that's good.
Okay, well,
I thought that's what I'd had.
it's not working. Oh, whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not
anyone
working.
try a couple of different configurations of what you put in for where it goes to grab the mail.
Oh,
Maybe.
the server?
Mm-hmm.
Different configurations.
I don't know exactly. Let's see. If Aaron Laura were here, he could tell you exactly what the server is for TWIS.org. But you can just try TWIS.org.
Okay.
Okay, we try again.
Try.
That's the basics. That's where you do it.
Nope.
TWIS.org/mail. Mail.twis.org.
Well, I go to webmail.twis.org. That's where I go.
Rourke says, best to use the secure variants of these protocols if your mail client supports them. 995 TCP for POP3s and 993 TCP for IMAPs.
I don't know what that means.
110 is not secure or encrypted.
Okay.
Yeah, just try mail.twis.org instead of webmail.
So
Okay, try again.
I've gone through a whole bunch of trial and error trying to put the multicam studio together.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a?
And
you said you had a switcher, right?
Yeah, the switcher and the other thing and the other stuff. Turns out everything can work if you're in. Everything works the way I want it to. If we move to Europe.
What?
It has to do with the amount of energy that's being used, the rate, the hertz and frequency rates of different electronics in the United States.
Right, and how much we have in our...
They're kind of uniform. They came up with the standard a long time ago, so you can easily plug in cameras and monitors and other things and that sort of thing to it. The other is Google apparently doesn't support directly any of the technology that I want to use.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have found a workaround.
Yeah.
I have found a workaround, which is to get away from the Microsoft and go Apple.
See, I thought I found that workaround myself, and then I went Apple, and then I just had new problems that didn't work. So Google doesn't like Apple. Google doesn't like Microsoft. Google just wants Google.
There's yeah, it might just be it.
Ooh, TriCaster Mini.
So what did you try? Did you try the live streaming, or have you looked at CamTwist?
I have looked at CamTwist. CamTwist is a good program. Do I have it loaded right now? I don't think I have it loaded right now. Yeah, I've been having issues with latency between the cameras, so the audio and the video is off for some reason, and I don't know. I haven't been able to fix it. I had my friend Kenji, who's great with tech and cameras and all this stuff, and he sat and looked at it for a good afternoon, and he could not figure it out. So it might just be my camera, which is another thing.
I think I was looking at a demonstration of the live stream, and during the demonstration they managed to get it to work. This was with using Macs, but got it to work with the Google. And the person demonstrating didn't seem to be bothered or paying attention to it, but there was it looked dubbed. It looked bad, like a badly dubbed movie.
Yeah, like it's just not quite right.
Yeah, and it looks beautiful. I had the switchers, I had the cameras set up, I had everything ready to rock and roll, and I'm like, but I can't get it into the feed, so it's pointless. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to find another way of doing. All I wanted was a 2-camera shot, and I was gonna put them real close together too, so it'd be like here and
there.
Here. I'd go back to the other one, and then back to this one now, right?
Yeah.
Hey, question.
Huh?
Sorry,
I don't know your password.
No.
That's my question.
Oh, I look like Justin? Is there a way for me to set up special filters for this box if it's working? Or how do you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I go to filters.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Following filters.
So the filter, by the way, the easiest filter.
You go to the bottom, create a new filter,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can apply whatever you want to it.
Blair, can I give you a tip on what to filter?
Mm-hmm.
That you can actually have it filter so that the subject line must include, say, a specific word.
Oh, which one would that be?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why you must put TWIS in the subject line.
Yeah.
Came from actually that email program being so easily spam mailable that that's how we came up with you must put TWIS in the subject line. Because that's all that it was intended to let through, was something that had TWIS, T-W-I-S, somewhere in the subject line.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm trying to have it only import from my TWIS email messages that say TWIS in the filter or in the subject. Is that possible?
Mm-hmm. Well, no. I don't think so. I think what you'd have to do is have the email filter out everything that didn't have TWIS in the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Hot Rod is right in the chat room. He's saying use ManyCam. ManyCam is a really great app. It's a really great application. Yeah, and I have Wirecast, but I still haven't found out. I've got everything on this computer, but it's just me doing it by myself is what the problem is, and that's what I'm.
No, it's not that. You know what it is?
Up against.
You know what it is?
Wirecast. I've also got.
Right. The problem is with personal computing. This is like 1988 for this kind of for home studios.
Yeah, I know.
It's like 1988 was to the personal computer. You bought a cute personal computer. It was more like a kit. It was a project. It was a project toy. It wasn't necessarily going to work, and it was your job to figure out how to put it together when things didn't happen. That's where all our computer scientists and engineers came from. It was because computers didn't work, but everybody wanted them, right? So now where we're at is that's all plug and play. I just got the Windows 8 on one of these computers, and I can't even find the control panel anymore. It's like, here's this, go here, go here, go here. That's it. You're done. Have a nice day. This though, this is that same point. There's nothing standardized for getting this out of broadcast stations where broadcast through the air now, digitally mortified down the cable lines. There's nothing out there to do what we're trying to do natively. So it's growing. There's people that want to do it. There's people that are trying to do it. There's workarounds that are being worked with. Let's see.
I want it now. Oh.
Yeah, it's use your webcam with it. I don't want the webcam. I want some. Actually, you know what? Then again, there was something frightening that came about when I had the switches working. As my camera re-autofocuses again on its own. One of the things that kind of made I was like, wow, that's what I look like in high definition? I don't really know if I'm ready.
And you just spoke the words of many a newscaster across the nation with the advent of high def.
I don't have makeup through. I can't be high definition. I'm gonna have to put a filter on that high definition. I'm gonna knock it down to 720 or 440 or wherever it needs to get to look as handsome as I do in the webcam.
You like that, yes. But then with Google, we now have filters that we can apply. Like I can decide that I want to be brightened. Doesn't this look amazing? My eyes pop. Or warm. I just made chocolate chip cookies. Or spotlight, look at my wrinkles. Or enhanced. Don't see any wrinkles.
I think you've got those
daily.
I think you've got those in. Are you changing? I can't tell if you're changing or if those are just in preview mode.
I was changing officially.
Yeah.
And now I'm in black and white. Black and white.
I think I've been in
the way things used to be. The world used to live in black and white. And now I'm smooth.
I like that.
Smooth operator.
How come I can't go to black and white?
You need to be on you. You gotta be on you.
I am on me. That's where it is.
Here, you're on you. Now, click on the, yeah, there you're black and white now. There we go. There you go.
This just in. Look at this. Look at the moon. Now the moon looks like the moon. Or no, it's the Earth. I can't even tell because it's black and white. Is that the moon or is that the Earth? So it looks the same. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go.
You gotta go.
I gotta go. It's I'm
All right.
supposed to already have been somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So,
You didn't warn us ahead of time, but enjoy.
Mm.
Have a good evening.
well, no, if you were gonna hang out later, I thought, I just didn't expect it. You got to warn me that you're staying at this point. You got to give me the heads up. Oh, Justin, we're not gonna ditch you right after the show.
Last week was the only time I think we've both ever done that.
That's true.
No, no,
It's the only
not
time.
no, not true at all.
It is true.
So, but I'm gonna go and return some of this. I don't think I can return all this stuff. I think I've found the solution, maybe. So Mac that's not an instant solution, though.
No, I don't think Mac is an instant solution. There's plenty that can be done with PCs. I was convinced that I had to go Mac, and now I'm doing Mac, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's all sorts of stuff. Wait, this isn't working the way I wanted it to.
So wait a second, though. Can you try, because maybe something's different. Maybe it's an update or something. Can you try to go back and mess with the cam twist and see if you can get it to stream over the Google?
Oh, I think it will. Try Manycam, though.
I saw.
Many.
Do I got
Many.
Manycam or Manycam?
Manycam.
What will that do?
It'll allow you to do 2 cameras, and it should be able to connect to Google. It should
But
work.
it's talking about maybe multiple webcams.
Multiple cameras. If you can plug it into your computer, then
Interesting.
it'll be able to see it.
Right. And I guess that's part of the problem. It's getting plugged into the computer. Right. Okie doke. Well, I will play with that some more later.
Okay.
Good night.
Good
night.
night.
Good night, chat room.
Yeah. Have a good one, Justin. Are we all saying goodbye, or is it just Justin?
Up to you.
The sun's coming up. I gotta move. It gets really. People don't think of it. It gets really hot on the moon.
It does when the sun comes up. Yeah.
So I gotta.
Okay.
Right. Kiki, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I've had some questions about if the TWIS packages all got sent off, and they did, right?
No, not all of them, because there were some that we hadn't received payments for yet. So I have a couple of packages that are packed, but have not been sent, but they should be sent now. And then I've got a bunch of T-shirts that I don't have sizes for people, because I never got sizes for people. So I've got some T-shirts for that. And then we have not sent anything since the mailing that you and I did, Blair. So,
right.
So there could be things that people are
right
thinking about that they're thinking they should be getting now. So I was just thinking today that I need to download, update the files and find out what's going on.
So if somebody gave enough to qualify for a T-shirt, it's possible they didn't get anything yet because the patch and sticker and stuff are in the T-shirt thing, and we don't have
here, the patch and the sticker and the pin. So I need T-shirt sizes for Jared Lysette, E.O., Byron Lee, Shane and Tara Ginsburg, and Paul Disney.
Okay.
I don't know if that's person on your list.
No, I'm going to message you right now.
This is.
I'm messaging you in the chat, in the Google thing.
Yeah. What do I have here? I also have an envelope here for a crisscross. Envelope here for Kevin. Another envelope for Kevin. And Sam Winzier.
That's what I got. Yeah, it's none of those people. So perhaps it got lost in the mail.
Yeah. Let's see, let me check the message, and then I can check the file. Really? No, we sent to him. I know we did.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'll totally send another one. Absolutely, but.
Okay, so here, I'll put it back in there. I have an address for him. I wonder if it's wrong.
Yeah, maybe let's
God.
double check the address. Or maybe not. Maybe that's. Oh, I know that. I remember he should have had one. He's been in that.
I remember writing on that envelope.
Yeah. We can send it. Just can you?
Yeah, I just sent you the daily.
I've lost my pen. I will copy and paste. Awesome. We'll make that happen. Because I don't want people feeling like they're not getting stuff that they should be getting. Yeah, I remember he was excited to get it because he was like, I'm going to get it. And I mentioned that we were sending stuff out and then we were tweeting back and forth. At some point, he was excited. Yeah.
So hopefully.
Yeah, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. We'll make it so. That's what we do.
We shall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay, I finished my copying and pasting there. La 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 la. La 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 la. So I have this idea. If only I could get Justin to put more stuff in the show notes.
Well, he did it this week.
Links at least, which is good. Links are good. Links are much better.
Folders.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh. And scroll down and catch up with the chat room. I feel like I'm on the other end of a lag. They get the video lag, and then now I'm lagged. VidBlaster can be good. That's what Schwood used to use. I don't know if he still does, but yeah, he's created a giant thing. I think it was VidBlaster. Oh no, shirt size. Yes, small Rhino identity 4. Yes. Yeah, I think it's a pretty basic. I think they're pretty basic sizes. Small is they're basic t-shirts. They're not like a weird fitted tee or anything like that. So they're just basic t-shirts. So if you're normally a small, I think a small is good. Like small basketball player. I don't think it's huge, Blair. Do you have a t-shirt? Would you say that there?
But I can tell you, yeah, what?
Is the small huge, or do you think?
No, it's not huge.
No, it's just a normal small.
Standard men's, unisex, whatever you want to call it, size.
Yeah. Okay, so Identity 4 gets a small. That's what we're going to do. Awesome. Sweet. Gord, you wouldn't necessarily want to recommend Brian's solution to Justin anyway. Yeah. Good night, Rights for Robots. Good night, Ed. Oh yeah, what am I doing here? I don't need to be here yet. Oi chicka, oi chicka, oi chicka, oi chicka. Events. I'm trying to do things while I'm sitting here. This screen keeps refreshing in a really freaky way, where it's like halfway in between me blinking, so my eyes look like I have weird zombie eyes, which I guess is kind of cool. Yeah, it's creepy, but it's kind of cool. I have zombie eyes. Yeah. There we go. Update that. I hope Google can handle it without breaking. Not trusting them not to break tonight, but so far so good. All right. Yeah, if it's a huge shirt, it'll be PJs. Exactly. Or you can wear it playing basketball and pretend you're. Never mind.
I'm dancing to no music.
Oh, I gotta turn on the Bee Gees again. Oh, yeah.
Put it on your laptop, share. Oh, we'll get in trouble.
I know, we'll get in trouble for it. Copyrighted music.
Fair.
Heaven and love. It's the Bee Gees.
Tucking it up on the Barry Gibbs talk show.
That's right. Every time I listen to the Bee Gees,
Talking about crazy gold medallions, tucking it up.
talking about politics and crazy gold Italians. No.
No, I don't. My favorite thing. And then we get in trouble for that copyright infringement.
Mm-hmm. Hot Rod, you have some cam software that can give huge eyes in a live video feed. That's awesome. On in the rain.
Data entry jobs. See, I'll be much better about responding to emails if this is filtered properly.
To show how deep is your love. Is your love.
Respond urgently.
Your
No.
love. Living in a world of hope. Us down. Tagging with what? Allowed to use small portions for creative or educational review. Awesome.
Product request. Nope. Oh my god. All of these emails are getting delivered to my Gmail.
Yeah! And then
It's
they'll
telling
filter.
me now that I have... Well,
5
they'll filter
billion.
after? Is that how that works? Oh, I'll have to filter them and move them all to the trash. Is that what I'm going to have to do?
Are these going into your inbox or a different?
Yeah. I don't understand why.
Everything is going through.
Well, it's all going into this folder in my inbox in Gmail.
It should be getting filtered on the way in, so that's surprising.
Yeah, it's not. I have like a million things from Twitter in there.
Oh, well, that's not necessarily going to be considered spam.
That's lame.
Being from Twitter, yeah.
I don't need email alerts from Twitter. I already turned it off and I keep getting them.
Whiskey Renegade, it is an automated process, actually. They look for patterns, and that's what they use. So I'm so sad, my Wham song. I have to figure out how to do the music. I don't know how to do the music. I could do the words and the singing, but it's going to sound really funny a cappella. That's all I gotta say.
A pastor has emailed me. Okay.
Where's Mike? What? How can I stop the sun from... Yes. Are these Bee Gees lyrics? Need to know, 'cause we're living in a world of... A world of what? Something, phones breaking us down? When they should all let us be? Wow. They belong to you and me. That's right. All right, I did that much there. That's awesome. I'm doing work at the same time. It's talking to y'all and hanging out, setting up stuff for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Thursday. Normally I do all my editing and everything on Friday, so I was kind of getting ready for that. But now it's Thursday, so I'll be doing some of that stuff in the morning. So maybe we'll be seeing me posting some things tomorrow and some things Friday. I don't know.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I'm wearing a women's tux tomorrow.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to a fancy party tomorrow? What is it?
It's a fancy donor event, fundraiser thing.
Very fun. Why a women's tux?
Because I was chosen to be one of the 3 people in a women's tux.
Fancy.
I don't know, man. Any excuse to dress fun. I'll take it.
Yeah. Gord is asking if you're using filter labels in Gmail.
Oh.
Maybe.
No, I don't think I am because I have my personal Gmail as part of that, so I don't want those filtered.
Janiscu posts 4 new substances could cause cancer. But they're not going to be new substances. They're going to be old substances, right? Or is this going to be brand new substances that we never knew about before? List of carcinogens now includes orthotoluidine. Makes rubber chemicals, pesticides, and dyes linked to bladder cancer. Okay, take that out of stuff. Let's not use it anymore. 3 other substances were added to a list of agents that are reasonably anticipated. Cleaning solvent, 1-bromopropane. It's a wood preservative mixture known as pentachlorophenol and cumene. Can be found in fuel products and even tobacco smoke. Interesting. What are the other 2? Oh. Okay, so 1-bromopropane, which is a cleaning solvent, a wood preservative mixture, pentachlorophenol, and cumene. So those are the 3 substances, right? That's what they're talking about. Ooh, so 1-bromopropane is popular in dry cleaning as a replacement for perchloroethylene. So it's one of the things that's supposed to make dry cleaning better for the environment. Better for the environment, worse for you, maybe.
Oh boy. Just wash things in liquid. Maybe that's a good idea.
Oh, pentachlorophenol, a substance used to treat utility poles, wood pilings, and fence posts. So, evidence is limited, too limited to call it a carcinogen, a known carcinogen, but it does cause tumors in the livers and organs of mice. Interesting. Don't go licking
I was just about to do that.
Telephone poles.
I was just about to do that.
Or the wood pilings that they are next to.
You beat me just barely to that punch. I love that.
Don't go licking telephone poles. That's right. So I was inspired by your story a lot last week. I could not get...
Oh, yes.
I could not get the lyric out of my head, and I had to write the whole song.
I love it.
It's like, jeez.
Well, I'm happy to play the do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do.
Yeah. Play it on the sax. Play a simplified version.
Yeah. I'd just change a couple of notes here or there.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. How do people do derivative works like that on YouTube and SoundCloud and not get shut down? Like,
That's a good question.
because it's basically an algorithm has detected that I used the music for the song Careless Whisper.
I don't know.
But that's what I need. I don't there's so many derivative works. People do spoofs all the time, but is that what you do? You just change a couple notes and you have to play it yourself, or what is the rule? What is the rule?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Dress wearing fun.
I have 34 pages of emails.
Oh God! Don't look at all
600.
Really? Google Hangouts? I hate you so much right now. I am not answering this phone call. Decline. Sorry.
What's happening?
Don't you see that I'm doing something? I'm on the internet.
I don't know how to do any of this.
Oh, did you see the Ew video? Jimmy Fallon and with
No.
Lamb? Oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's so funny.
What video? Ew?
Ew. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. Like, oh my, it's perfect. I'm gonna put it in the
Jimmy Fallon and Will I Am.
And Will I Am, and it is just hilarious. Yeah, it's more like a cover. They write their own backing music and change the notes up a bit. It's so funny. There is Whiskey Renegade. If it were as easy as slightly changing your body pH and Mike, are you guys talking about a specific sunlight can cause cancer? Yeah. Cumin is supposed to be good for actually preventing cancer. Mike, acidic body pH article you read. Yeah, so the question is like whether you can actually get your body into a pH. I mean, vegetarians and carnivores have different body pHs based on the hydrogen content of the amino acids in the stuff that they're eating. So somebody who is a carnivore, if I'm remembering, has more amino acids, more protein, so it's going to be a lower pH, whereas somebody who's vegetarian is going to have a slightly higher pH. But I don't know that you can actually change your diet enough to make it that significant that it would become inhospitable to cell growth. I mean, because basically what you're talking about when you say cancer or tumors, it's uncontrolled cell growth and cells that would continue to divide. Like you would really have to change your pH to an unhealthy state. Yeah, I don't know if it's, I don't know how possible it is. All I know is that it's not something that I know of in the medical literature or what doctors tell you to do, really, other than eat a healthy diet, right? At the bottom of the live feed right now is an invitation to join the conversation. There is? Really? Why would there? What is it? What happens if you press on that? Press on it, Larry. What invitation to join the conversation? Is that the Q&A? Because I did not open Q&A once today.
Uh-oh.
Oop. Well, there's an error loading your app. There you go. The feature is disabled. There we go. There we go, Google. There we go. Showcase. Nope. Nope. And that just broke it. Okay, go away. Woo! I just got bigger. Let's make me smaller. I want my lower thirds back. Google. Better be back next time.
I don't understand how to do this. I'm bothered.
What's bothered? Why are you bothered? What's happening?
I'm trying to.
You look upset.
I'm very upset. I'm trying. How do I have. Wow. So I'm trying to. Now I have like 600 emails in this folder in my Gmail, and now I want to filter what's in this folder. But I don't know how to filter what is only in this folder.
I don't know. There are people who know how to do these things. There are Gmail aficionados, and I am not one of those. I just use it all the time, and I've gotten good enough that it works for me. Using Android to control TWIS robots? Absolutely, that would be cool. Oh, no, Gord, you are seeing my lower third, but it's not the, it's not like Blair's. It's not my usual lower third. The ones that were made for us, and I usually have an overlay that I use at the beginning and the end of the show to mark the in and the out for the show, so it's a visual in and out, and they're not here preloaded. Everything disappeared, and earlier today I went to my the This Week in Science account, and it lost like the big picture for our account. So I don't know what was going on. It keeps, and then the picture came back. So maybe these things will come back another time. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm so confused.
Why are you confused?
It's just too much. This is not for me. I tried to get too fancy, filtering things and moving things around. I should have just... Ugh.
That's weird, Larry from Michigan. You pressed on it, it gave you a new screen, and it looks like it's trying to add you. But it's not, because I'm not getting anything over here. That's weird. Very strange. What is Google doing? What is going on?
It's all confusing. Search at that point, not filter. Okay. How? No. More. I don't know.
Okay, so Wiz Mike. So you found this, and yes, it's a very well written, stated article, but I am not seeing. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here on this website that makes me think that it is a good source for information, actually. It's got, yeah. It looks like somebody's website that they just put together, kind of link bait kind of a thing. But
I have that Jimmy Fallon song stuck in my head now.
ew.
Yeah.
Ew, ew, ew.
Yeah.
That just cracked me up.
Okay.
Yeah. And then down at the bottom, disclaimer, these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The products information contained herein are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases or medical problems. It is not intended to replace your doctor's recommendations. Educational purposes only. Nutritional benefits may vary from one person to another. It sounds like they're trying to sell stuff on this website.
Curious.
Yeah, this is like a supplement. They're trying to sell supplements or something on this website. There aren't lots of which makes me not trust it so much. There's like a basis in physiology and cellular metabolism in there, but yeah. I'm gonna say not a good source. Not a good source.
It's good to be skeptical of your sources.
Did I press the big red button at the beginning to do the show, Hot Rod? Yes. Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Good night, Identity 4. We should probably go to bed too. It's 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday. They already lost today. Damn it. Pamela Sue Taylor is married.
I saw that. Congrats, Pam.
Congrats to Pam. Yay.
On a beach, nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. That's fancy.
Very nice. Romantic. Okay. Yeah, we should probably
What
go to Betty Bye.
is this? Are these octopuses?
Oh, that thing? I don't know what that is.
What is that? Did you see it? Logan sent it. Logan
Yeah.
Waterman.
How gross is that?
Whoa, it's got like some center. It's like a sea star of some kind, but
Yeah, it kind of looks like a bunch of brittle stars, but it's also moving super fast.
whoa.
And I was trying to watch the water and see if it was time lapse, but it looks like it's not.
Whoa.
Looks legit.
Is that real? I mean, is this something that
know.
somebody computer graphics all over?
That's what I was wondering.
Oh, okay. Have you guys seen this thing? This is crazy. I don't know how to. I guess I can just. How do I share it big enough? Okay. I'm going to screen share that. It's going to be smaller though. You guys have to see this. And okay. So now I'm going to press play on this. Can you guys see this? Can you see this now?
Ugh, that's creepy.
What is that? Yeah, that's a normal wave splashing.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense. Is this like... And it looks like there's like a center mouth hole or something.
Looks fake.
It looks fake. But whoa, it's got to be fake, right? It's Gotta be fake. You
Gotta
guys,
be fake.
is that fake?
I don't know.
Is that fake? Is it fake? Is that what?
I don't know.
And screen share. You are screen sharing. Stop. Yeah, that's gotta be fake. It's gotta be like a movie or something.
I don't know. It's creepy.
Creature. How could I look that up on like Snopes or something? Yeah, it's obviously Cthulhu. Obviously, it's just a baby Cthulhu. Oh my god.
Terrifying.
Nopes. God, what do you call it? Ocean animal. No. There's a giant sea spider thing. Is that it? Come on, load. Nope, that's different. Yeah, it's also vertical video. I did that too. I do that too sometimes. We all forget every once in a while. Always hold your phone vertically.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's another way to search for this? What is... Okay, I'm going to copy what they posted and see if I can...
I commented on it. I asked what it was, but there was no response as of yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty weird, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So, of course, now...
My mind will just be forever ruined for the ocean if it is real. Gorgon head starfish. Never heard of it. Whoa. Whoa. Maybe. Huh. The Gorgon head starfish does have a whole bunch of arms. And it did have that center. Okay, here, I'm going to screen share that. Oops. Like this, the center, and then all the crazy arms around it. But I would, the fact that it was moving so quickly. Wow. Gorgon head starfish. Possibly. That is wild.
What's it called?
A Gorgon head starfish. Gorgonocephalus. Where did I do my search? I just lost it, didn't I? Okay. I'm going to stop the screen share for a second. Let's see if we can find more information on this. Gorgonocephalus, put Medusae. basket star, Gorgon's head is a central disc covered with distinct spines and may reach a diameter of up to 9 centimeters. The 5 heavily branched arms have as many as 5,000 arm tips and can reach a diameter of approximately 50 centimeters. The color is pale yellow or beige. When disturbed, the arms curl up and appearance changes from a bush to a tight ball.
Ugh.
Wow. Wow. Never heard of that before. Gorgon's head. That is cool. So I am a big fan of this scary creature. A creepy creature.
Gorgon's head?
Gorgon. Gorgon. Gorgon.
And then S?
No, just Gorgon head starfish. The Gorgon head starfish lives off shrimp and plankton and can use its unique alien-like tendrils for locomotion. It's real! My gosh, it's not time-lapse. It's not time-lapse, and it was real. The page link where the video is, so that was something that was a Facebook message to me.
Gorgon hoped.
So I don't know where the original came from, but you can, I think, yeah, you can play it off of this other person's Facebook page.
Is it actually a starfish? What did it say?
It's a cousin of the starfish. So it's
Hmm.
related to the starfish. Gorgonocephalus caput medusae. Medusae. Huh. Oh, wow.
Hmm.
So fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
That is just a creepy, awesome looking thing.
Just
Makes
seems
me
like
think-
it shouldn't be real.
Right? I don't know. The way it's moving is just... Starfish don't move that fast, do they?
No, the lightning starfish is the fastest, or the sunflower star is its other name, and it moves 3 feet a minute.
Yeah. This thing is moving. Like these tendrils. Wow.
Yeah, it's gross.
I keep watching it too. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
All right, everybody.
It's bedtime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Larry, don't you love it when stuff amazes me? Things amaze me all the time. Yeah, Mgord, do they blend in with rocky environments? Yes, yes, I believe this does from what I was just reading. It sounds like they live on the rocky substrate at the bottom of the ocean, and they probably try to blend in with the rocks and catch stuff passing by. But oh, wow, with its many arms. What are you going to be for Halloween, Gorgon head? Gorgon head starfish.
How would that even work? You'd have to do a bunch of animatronics.
Yeah. Facebook comments suggest it's delicious fried. Facebook comments are right up there with comments everywhere else. Good gracious.
What are you going to be for Halloween, Kiki?
A Ghostbuster.
Oh.
We are falling in line with the Ghostbuster trend of my child.
Of course. The all-powerful child.
The all-powerful child.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. Tired time is happy. Yeah, Cthulhu. I say Cthulhu. Tastes good fried. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you for enjoying the science. We're going to go away for a few days. We'll be around on the internets.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you next Wednesday. Wednesday night for more science. Woohoo! Is there anything in the meantime that we need to talk about?
I don't think so. You just have to text me about
Next Friday, but that's after we get together next Wednesday. So
yes.
yeah, but yeah,
yeah. I just have to set
have
up
to
our
schedule.
interview.
Yeah. Okay. I will make sure that I can do that if I can do that. I'm pretty sure I can.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Yeah. Oh my God! I'm gonna start yawning. Ah! The tired has set in. Everyone, have a wonderful rest of your week. This was Science Hump Day. I hope we got you over the hump with aplomb and ease, and that we've got you ready to slide on into the end of the week, all fed with science and happy in your science bellies. All right, everyone. Good night. Take care. Thanks for watching.